Hey there, it's Karen with InspiredByGram.com. Welcome to my channel and welcome to my craft room today. I am going to be showing you how to make this adhesive holder. Not only is it an adhesive holder, it also holds your take your pick tool. So as you can see, it's very hard to show you this kind of box here, but in it I've got my take your pick tool, I've got my mono liquid glue, glue dots, Stampin' Seal Plus, Stampin' Seal, you've got your tear tape, and I've got a full package of Stampin' Dimensionals. So this is a great item to have on your craft desk and to keep you really organized. So we're gonna make this together today, and let me just put it all together and put it over to the side. Now, I have a free PDF tutorial for this, and it comes with colored pictures here, and also the supply list and all of the dimensions, scoring lines, and the sizes of your designer series paper, and also the assembly and stamping here as well. So if you would like this free PDF, all you need to do is email me at inspiredbygram@gmail.com. I would be happy to send this to you, and it can go international. So that's what's great about a PDF. All right, so the paper we're going to be using is the Expressions in Ink specialty paper. Now, we all know this paper was on back order for so long, but it is now orderable. So if you would like to purchase this paper, you can head over to my website, inspiredbygram.com, and click the Shop Now button. But we're going to be using this fabulous paper because that paper goes all year round. So I'll have one of these nice adhesive holders on my desk. So what I've done ahead of time, because this is a little complicated with the designer series paper, there's some really small pieces here. So we're going to be working on the compartments. Kind of, we're going to score all of the evening evergreen cardstock, and then we will put it together. So kind of have to use paper clips to do this, but let me just bring this over here, and I'm going to get my instruction sheet out because there's lots of scoring, but it's not too difficult. So this is called, this piece here, it's all evening evergreen cardstock, and the main compartment is cut 9 by 8. Then what you need to do is score on the short side, so that is this one here, and we need to score at 1.5. And I've got the Stampin' trimmer here, so we've got the scoring blade and we got the cutting blade, so make sure you get that cutting blade out of the way. You don't want to use the wrong one. So we're going to score at 1.5. And then we're going to slide this extension out because we need 6.5 way over here. So I'm just going to line up that evening evergreen cardstock and then score at 6.5. We're going to rotate our paper. So now we're working with the long side, and we're going to score at 4.5 and 6. All right, so that is your main compartment. We're going to match this back up with that designer series paper. Then we're going to move on to the multi-purpose liquid glue compartment. So this one here, take these pieces off, see how tiny these are? This is a great project to use up your designer series paper that is your favorite. So this piece here is cut 6 inches, yep, by 3 3/4. So now what you want to do is score on the short line at 1 inch, and then 2 3/4. Now don't worry, I will have all these scoring lines in that free PDF. Then you're going to rotate, score on the long side at 3 inches and 4 inches. All right, so now we're all done with the scoring, so we're going to match these back up. The last compartment we are going to be working on is called the glue dots compartment. This is cut 6 by 5, on the short side, on the 5-inch side, we're going to score at 1 and 4 inches. And then we're going to rotate to the long side and cut at 3 inches and 4 inches. Okay, so let's match these up. We don't want to get them mixed up. We are all done with our Stampin' trimmer, so I'm going to put mine on my wall. It's got that nice little open hole, so I store mine right on my wall. Okay, so now what you're going to do is you're going to score on you're going to burnish with your bone folder on all these score lines. And there's one down here, and then one over here. Okay, so now we've got something that looks like this. I'm not sure if you can see the score lines, but now you're going to take your paper snips and you're going to snip right up here, right to that score line, right on the score line. Go right up there, and we'll flip it, and we will go all the way up to this side and this side here. Okay, so now what it should look like is like that. Now if you want, you can angle cut these if you would like. I'm okay with it. I don't think you need it. So now what I'm going to do with this piece here is we're going to create the box. Okay, it's going to look like this. Okay, but if it's easier for you to put on your designer series paper first, I would suggest doing that. You just got to remember, if you've got directional paper, that you put it on the correct way. Okay, so just figure out what side looks best for you. I would also recommend using your multi-purpose liquid glue. So we're just going to add some around the edges here and a little bit in the middle. And then again, I'm going to add this right here. This is going to be the front of that box, although most of it's going to be covered up with your sentiment labels from the Hippo and Friends. But we do need designer series paper on this. And also, we don't need to put the designer series paper on this side because that's going to be matched up with the liquid glue compartment. We do need to put it on this side here. So let's open this back up, and then this is the piece that you're going to put on here. And again, the measurements are going to be in that free PDF. But we're going to put this right here. Okay, and then we're going to close this box back up, and we're going to open it again. We're going to put our multi-purpose liquid glue right there. Then we're going to close it shut. Make sure your lines are all straight and even on the bottom and over here, and this is why liquid glue is really helpful. If you want, you could put like a clothespin on here to hold it in place, but using liquid glue, it does really kind of set very easily and very quickly. And I can see I've got this piece out, so let me just sneak that under there. And again, we're going to add that liquid glue right here, and then put it down, and then close this one up. Again, this side doesn't need the designer series paper because it's going to be matched up with the other compartment. Okay, so that looks good. The next thing we need to do is angle cut these. So what I just do is I actually do it from the inside, so I go to the top and to right there, and then all the way up. Using your paper snips really works easy, really sharp scissors, and they cut extremely well. So that is that one box. We'll set that one aside. Let's work on the next one here. Again, I'm going to remove that paper clip. We will burnish all of our score lines. This would be really fun to mass produce. Honestly, it takes 2 sheets of cardstock and very minimal designer series paper. So if you know a paper crafter that could use this, you should just make it for them and it would totally make their day, right? Keep them a little bit more organized with your adhesives. So again, I'm just snipping right up to that score line, same process as before. Now this is going to be the liquid glue compartment. It's going to kind of look like this. But the first thing we want to do again is put our designer series paper on this and then just figure out, oh boy, I hope I didn't cut that one wrong. It kind of looks like I did, right? But we're going to wing it, that's okay. I'm just going to check my measurements, so just for a second, because I might be able to figure it out. So I did cut this 1.5 by 1.5. However, it needs to be 1.5 by 1 3/4. So I'm gonna get my handy dandy paper trimmer out, and you guys can see I never edit my videos, so we're just gonna wing it and we're going to fix this mistake. So we want 1 3/4 by 1.5. So let's see if this piece fits a little bit better. Hopefully. If not, then my measurement is wrong. I'll fix it. There we go. So I just miscut that. So we will add this designer series paper right to the front. This is going to be the front, okay? So it's kind of looking a little bit better. However, we need that designer series paper on the outside of that liquid glue compartment. And it's going to go right here. So we'll just take our liquid glue one more time and add this right here to the bottom. And then the next step is to create the box itself. Again, you could angle cut these if you want. I don't think it's necessary. So here's our little box. We're going to flip it on its side. We're going to add our liquid glue to this flap right here and close it shut, and then line up all of your edges, and you can kind of squeeze it from the inside as well until it sticks. Then we're going to flip it over to this side here. This flap's going on the inside, and then we'll close this one shut. Okay, so far so good. And now let's angle cut like we did in that first box. So top to bottom, this on this side. And now we've got a nice angled box, so that is box number 2. The next step is going to be working on the main compartment, and that's where it holds most of the weight of your adhesive. So I've got my Stampin' Dimensionals, I have my tear tape, and my Stampin' Seal and Stampin' Seal Plus. So again, we're just going to burnish all those score lines. I hope you can see the score lines. I think on darker paper and when you video taping, it does show up a little bit better. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're just going to cut up on those right up to the score lines. Again, taking my paper snips, cutting right on the score lines there. If you want, now's the time to angle cut those tabs. And then we're going to just cut right up to that. Now this is the biggest box, so it's going to kind of look like this. Okay. Again, we'll angle cut those tops, but let's get our designer series paper again. We've got 3 pieces here. Actually, yeah, 3 pieces. So this large piece I'm going to put on the back side because we want to make that back side pretty as well. And why not? We're not using too much of that designer series paper. you're not using very much at all, so why not sparkle up the back side as well, with especially with that gold embossed. That's why it's called specialty paper, because it has that gold embossed foliage in parts of those flowers too. Just gorgeous. And now we're going to figure out which is next. The sides here need our designer series paper, so we're going to add these two pieces. Oops, this is why your multi-purpose liquid glue really helps you out. And then we'll add this one here with an equal distance on the top, bottom, left, and right. We got our flaps in, and then this is going to go onto this side here. We'll work on this side. We will add our adhesive here, and then close it shut, lining up all the edges, the bottom here and this side here. And then if you can pinch it on the inside, just hold it in place for a little bit. It takes a good 10 seconds for the adhesive to hold, but once it starts to grip, it'll be fine. And now we can work on this side. Again, I'm going to add adhesive to that rectangle shape. Close it shut, line up your bottom so it's flush, and this side as well, and then just hold it in place. Now if you want, you can also take your bone folder and just kind of go on the inside just to give it some pressure. Okay. Now this is the front. You do not need to cover that up, but we do need to angle cut these sides. So again, I'm just going to take my paper snips, angle cut it all the way up to the top corner, and then we're going to go top to bottom on this side here. All right, so now we're going to assemble our box together, okay? So the best thing to do is to put these two together first. So this is what we'll do, add our adhesive, and then kind of form them together. And what I'm going to do, because it does need some kind of pressure, I'm going to add my paper clip right here and just hold these two together. I'm going to set this aside. I'll set it right on top right here for right now. Whoops, I want to make sure. There we go. It kind of went up a little bit as I pushed, so I wanted to set that back. So that is going to dry. In the meantime, we can do our stamping. So I've got the Hippo and Friends dies. This one is in Evening Evergreen. This is in Basic White. My ink color of choice is Evening Evergreen, the same exact color as that cardstock. I'm going to be using this stamp set that is called Bamboo Beauty. You've seen me use this one before. I love the sentiments in here, and I think both of these, actually almost every one of these will work for this project. We're just going to use the sentiment today. And let me find it. I've got it mounted on a D block. Love the Stampin' Up! Blocks. They're so nice to hold on to. And if you're a beginner stamper, these are great blocks to use and to learn how to stamp. You have so much control. All right, so there's our little sentiment here. We're going to embellish that, but let's wait a second. As we close up that ink pad, we are going to be mounting this to that Evening Evergreen die cut. Love how these dies match perfectly, and that highlight of the Evening Evergreen. All right, so there we go. Now we're going to flip this one over, and we're going to prep it with some Stampin' Dimensionals. And I'm working off a sheet here that was in one of our card kits. And I'm just using the edge pieces. Never throw these away, you guys. They are meant to work like Stampin' Dimensionals. So I'm going to put 4 on there. That should be good. We'll make sure that we smush them right down there. And then we'll peel off the backings here and just kind of throw those off to the side. And that's all prepped. Let's bring this back in. So these are now somewhat glued. I know it needs to set a little bit more, but there's not enough time to do that in this video. So I think we can still put it together and it'll be good. So what we're going to do is we're going to add our adhesive on the back side here. Make sure you have enough in the middle as well. Flip this over and then you're going to center it on the front the best you can. All right, so we're going to leave this just like this because we're going to put that sentiment label on the front. Now I'm going to hide this seam here by using the Hippo and Friends dies, and we'll just kind of press it down gently. And then I'm going to embellish it with the lovely loose flower flourishes. These are beautiful. They come in various different colors, the in colors from 2021, 2023. And all of these colors really work nicely, but I think I'm going to highlight it with this one right here. And just decide where you want to put it. I'm going to put it down in that lower left corner because I think it looks really nice there. I'm going to take my glue dots and I'm going to take one of these glue dots, add that flourishing flower to it, and then we'll just peel it off and then add this right down here. And just give it a nice little press so that we know that is on there. So that is your adhesive toolbox. All right, looks awesome. And the back side, very lovely. And it's pretty good and solid right now. So let's fill it up with our Stampin' Dimensionals. Then we'll take our tear tape, our Stampin' Seal Plus, our Stampin' Seal, and then we've got some multi-purpose liquid glue, and finally our glue dots. So, and one other thing, we can add that take your pick tool, because if you use the smaller side here, it will stay right in there and there's plenty of room. So not only does it hold your adhesive, it also holds your take your pick tool. So for all these products, you can purchase from my website at inspiredbygram.com. Now, again, if you would like the free tutorial for this adhesive box holder, you can email me at inspiredbygram@gmail.com. Have a great day.